Hey up everyone, what's going on and welcome back to Stirling Albion, where I have a ridiculous schedule at the end of this season. I'm not showing you this Dundee match here because we're playing him in the Scottish Cup final. I'll explain that in a second, but it has made this end of season really stupid in terms of where the games are being played. I've got to play Dundee United, that's key that you make the clarification, Rangers 2 days later, and then Dundee United 2 days later again. I'm half tempted to throw the Rangers game, because it's come off the back of drawing against Celtic and Rangers 1-1 away from home, back-to-back, which are ridiculous results, really, on paper. Slightly more ridiculous was the Scottish Cup semi-final, which I did say I'd show you in some shape or form, and then promptly clicked through on autopilot. Autopilot turned to disbelief, and I just forgot entirely to record any part of that. 4-0, Duda twice, Victor Fernandez, Paul Glatzel, 95th minute. Yeah, that happened. It's basically because I kind of forgot the two Rangers league games were at the end of the season. I just presumed the match I was playing was a league match, and it wasn't. It was the semi-final. So yeah, Scottish Cup final time. That'll be later on. I'm just going to show you the result of this Dundee United match. I'm not certain which match I'm going to throw, really, here. When I say throw as well, St Mirren have played 2 more games than us and have 2 more points. So realistically, I just need to win one of our extra games. Now, we obviously play Rangers next in the league. St Mirren's last game is Celtic. Their only game remaining left is Celtic away. So, realistically, you're expecting them to lose that one, but we won't rely on that. If we win any of our remaining 3 matches and St Mirren draw, we will be third. That's also worth a clarification because of the goal difference situation. Unless we lose massively, the goal difference should be in our favour here. Win this match, by the way, we're guaranteed at worst 4th. Oh, shout out to Aberdeen's manager, who just got manager of the month by virtue of being the only good team in the bottom half. Sorry to fans of all those other teams, but yeah, there is a distinct quality difference between that top 8 and the bottom 6 in this division this year. It's a shame someone had to be in the bottom half, really. It's worth noting there's a few tired legs in general in the squad to start with, so Callum's going to play this one, but I don't know why I'm showing you this, if I'm honest. I'm just going to show you the result, and hopefully we'll get through it. I am going to show you the Rangers match in part, but this will seal us at worst 4th if we do win this. So, actually, I say that. If we win this one, depending on what happens with the Rangers match, the last match may not really matter at all anyway. It does rely on what happens with St Mirren and Celtic, of course, whenever they play. But a win here takes us ahead of St Mirren regardless. So, Duda's hit the bar. Well, the good news is Ali Mali's evened this game up. I didn't show you their goal. It was a bit... I'll be honest, shambolic defending was involved and I was a little bit embarrassed by it. But we've got ourselves back on level terms, and actually, thinking about it, provided Celtic beat St Mirren in that remaining game, 2 draws will be enough for us as well. But it would make the final day tense if it does come to that. Long throw time though. They've dealt with these quite well so far in the opening 36 minutes. I think Ali Mali's... What the... Sorry, I could see him stood directly in front of the goalkeeper. I was about to make a comment about that, and then it became actually relevant. I apologise to your eardrums for what I can only expect was not pleasant for your ears if you're wearing headphones there. I could see him stood there. I was about to joke about that. Never in a million years did I think the game was actually about to do that. I'm glad that I was recording now. Oh, dear Lord. What is remarkable is this is the second worst mistake of this game. Duda scored his 25th, but not really of his own doing here. I mean, he had to do something in it, but still. I wonder if Chris Mockey wants to leave now. Oh, that's a good goal for them. They're trying. Straight from kickoff, actually. Yeah, just misses a header, doesn't he? Just misses the header. In a move to protect the first team as Alstrom's been brought on and just kicked it straight at the goalkeeper. In case people are confused, by the way, Leyes took an injury. So did Nacelle, actually, just before this as well. Also, as this match disallowed. Also, as this match, Hibernian actually 3-2 against Celtic here. They've had a rotten time, I think, since the split. They've gained, I think, 5 points in the 10 matches they played since that happened. A few contracts have been given out. As I kind of suspected, some of those players who rejected end of season transfers, well, they could have very, very easily gone to places like Sunderland, Millwall, the teams that are interested, and didn't. They have signed contracts. Josh Boller did want £30,000 when I approached him in January. He's agreed to 11 or 12, not much more than what he's on right now. The rest of them have actually gone on less money, somehow. Winning there did secure us the Euro Cup 2, which I think is 4th place, basically. Because now, Hearts, 2 games to play, are 7 points behind, cannot catch us. So I think that's what that's talking about. Whilst 5th is highlighted as a European place or something, 4th is Euro Cup 2 bare minimum. It's interesting that 3rd through to 5th are all depending on winner of Scottish Cup, of which could be us or Dundee United this year. So, with Dundee in 6th, 4th probably actually matters. Now, I'll be honest here, for this Rangers match, Quench is on a yellow card warning, and I think that carries over, irritatingly. So I'm actually going to protect every single player that's on a yellow card, if I can. Fabian Layers is good for 60 minutes, so I should be able to use him and Tchaikovsky in bit parts, hopefully. Keep them both fresh. But yeah, I'm trying to keep all the yellow cards out of the way just in case they do matter, as I fear they will. Can't believe I'm in a position where I actually actively want to throw a match. Well, not necessarily throw the match, but weaken against Rangers. Well, that's gone well from the kickoff. Oh dear, oh dear. So man Rogerio Francisco. I don't know what's going on with his shirt, by the way. But I guess St Mirren plays Celtic on the final day alongside our match with Hearts. So we won't find out what happens to them until we play the final match as well. There was an interesting ball back there. I was wondering if we were about to have 2 goalkeeper errors in a row, match-wise. Oh, it's gone back again, and he's being closed down again. He's escaped it again. And speaking of escaped, Passetto has escaped our defence. Ted Smith stands quite firm there. Yeah. Our first 11 beat them 4-0. Our first 11 drew them 1-1 away. Admittedly, we gave away a penalty in that, so it should have been a win. Again, that's a really irritatingly simple ball. My 2.5 choice defence is well, it's acting like it, I'll be honest. It's been 26 minutes, we've given away 9 shots. Actually, no, I'll give them credit. Dominguez and Graham are my second choice defenders right now. They're numeros 3 and 4. The reason why I've weakened here dramatically is because of the way those rules were listing the European places. It actually looks like we've been given a penalty in this one. It's evening itself out. But because of the way all of the positions after the 2 top ones where Celtic and Rangers are, god damn it, because 3rd, 4th and 5th all had the I depending on Scottish Cup asterisks essentially on them. I have an awful feeling that the winner of the Scottish Cup would go ahead of the team in 3rd in terms of getting the European places. And because Dundee United are the opponents for that, and they're in 6th, that matters. If it had been Celtic or Rangers, I wouldn't care about the Scottish Cup final because we're likely to end up 3rd anyway with that Europa League spot. Obviously, in terms of the challenge, I don't think it matters what European competition we get into. It's just the final ranking. But for playing this beyond the challenge, I would like to be in the highest European competition possible. And let's be honest, nobody really cares about the Euro Cup 2. Glatzel has equalised. He's barely played, bless him, since we brought him in permanently, thanks to the Duda acquisition for this year. Whether or not we'll get Duda back again next year, no idea. They may want higher quality teammates, as I'm used to getting with my Toledo save. But then again, we might be alright if we get into European competition, of course. And whilst Rangers have been somewhat dominant here, it's got to be said we haven't been nowhere either. We have had 2 clear-cut chances, apparently, and we've put one of them away, evidently. It's not like we haven't done anything, and that is an open goal, pretty much, for Tavernier to miss. Oh, for God's sake, Lewis, has he been sent off again? Fullbacks! We're going to have to risk someone, aren't we? You know what the horrible thing here is? Because of layers, I might be about to do something incredibly dangerous. Trying to work out who would be more of a miss, because if that red card is passed over to the Scottish Cup, then I need Ziggy Gordon, right? At right back. Now, we'll do that, and we'll just bring Quensa on as a centre-back and push Dominguez over, who can work over there. In case you hadn't worked it out, what I was contemplating was 3 at the back. 3 centre-backs. Taking layers off as well, because he's tired. But I just don't have the regular personnel to be doing left and right wingers, just normal midfielder wingers. Alright, Layers was good for 60. It's been 63. Tchaikovsky comes in. I pulled them back defensively as well, just because 10 men nearly didn't matter. Quensa got the yellow card. I think he was on a warning, I can't remember. I'm now hoping the Scottish Cup final doesn't count. But this is a modified database, and it's sometimes a little bit hard to code that properly. So I'm not confident we'll have Quensa for the Scottish Cup final now. At the very least, it feels somewhat justified not bringing Ziggy Gordon on. How Rangers haven't scored about 5 here, I don't know. I really don't. Percentage on a 5.9. That says a lot. I think I've ended up covering more of this match than I was intending to. What was that? It says Tchaikovsky hoofs the ball clear. Not really. He hoofed it sideways, and Passetto, I feel like, was offside. But the moral of the story is I should have put Sutar on the bench. Oh, good lord, we've scored. And it's counting. It is counting. It's just because there was another notification up there. I was dreading the disallowed notice about to be popping up after that. It's a set piece. Connor Smith takes it, and Ross Graham gets on the end of it. And frankly, when you're 10 men down, that's pretty much the best way to get a goal. I mean, if we do get 3 points, never mind. I was going to say, if we do get 3 points, that absolutely makes the Hearts match completely entirely irrelevant at the end of the season. I mean, that's a really good finish from Herver there. Wouldn't know he was a defender with that, blimey. Oh no, there's a late corner for Rangers. No, this is... Oh, well, it's gone back out again, so I won't just say all good just yet. But you've got to feel the Tchaikovsky clearance was the main part of that highlight. As we hold on for 2-2 in the end. Oh, sorry, it just flashed up as I disappeared. It said Aaron Lewis had a 100% tackle ratio. How is that possible when he got 2 yellow cards and got sent off? Surely he at least failed 2 tackles. Either that or I've just been robbed of a right back. Maybe there is something wrong with the coding for right backs then, and full-backs in general. Because if Aaron Lewis did have a 100% tackle ratio, how did he get booked? Like, if there is something wrong with the coding, it would very much explain why they get booked all the time. Yeah, he's out for 2 matches. All Scottish domestic competitions. Notably, Quentin not on this list. Pochettino. Still tracking. Ah, no, there it is. Because these yellow cards carry over, we could be in a bit spot of bother for the final game of the year. But frankly, hopefully that won't matter if we win this, of course, because 3rd anyway, essentially, in terms of what we get out of it. I'm looking at Scott Robertson actually there. That's not a good rating, my friend. Dominic Gape starts. Smith in goal, Layers at left back, Cardoso, Dominguez, Gordon, Perez, Gape, Fernandez, Jones, Bowler, Duda, and actually, frankly, up until January, that's the first 11. Carl Lascelles, of course, usually there. But he didn't react particularly well to the meeting, and he doesn't like big matches from what I remember in previous saves, so he never really showed that in previous saves. The fact he didn't react well in the meeting, impact sub, Callum, impact sub this time. Oh, I hate doing it. So essentially, this is the one match I'm going to be covering in full here against Dundee United. Steve McLaren, their manager. Chris Mockery then, again, of course, there. Dundee have lost 5 in a row, though, which is somewhat interesting because unlike Hibs, who were the other team on separated as that sort of 6th and 7th at the bottom of this top half of the split, Dundee have picked up points since the split, unlike Hibernian. Like they're up to 50-something points, 55, something like that. They've picked up about 15 points in these remaining 12 or so games. I mean, they've not played all 12 yet, but Cardoso has made it 1-0 on just after 10 minutes. From a corner, slid in 8 goals for Cardoso this year from the centre-back position, pretty much all from corners, I would imagine. But yeah, nice little sliding challenge through the middle there. Low corner, actually, you've got to be said. And we take the advantage early on. Although, corner for them. Well held by Ted Smith. He has his moments, does Ted. He has his moments. We only usually see the bad ones because that's usually the ones that we end up conceding. But that was good from him there. There was a sensational one in one of the matches in the run-up to what we've seen today there. Jones heads wide. Absolutely sensational save. I have no idea how he pulled it off, even in virtual form. McMullen, though, coming forward. There's a few orange shirts. Dominguez, good tackle first off it. Mockery, again. Sensational save from Ted Smith there at close range. I don't think the game's given him credit for that save as such, because this highlight does continue, so that wasn't the main part of that. What we're seeing here. Bowler plays it backwards. Perez will find Fernandez, who will just give it away. Lovely. That's Cardoso. Layers. I'm not sure I don't know how long Layers is good for this particular match, but he was on 90% fitness this time round, so doing a little bit better than last time. Gordon. Jones. Near post. Under Ripley. Lovely. We had to wait a little while for the highlight to conclude, but conclude it did. And it's 2-0, and this feels a little bit nicer. Tiggy Gordon, the assist. Jones rounds the defender, and Ripley doesn't get enough onto it. Does touch it, but doesn't get enough onto it to tip it wide. And that is 2-0. Games are being played, but league games are being played in the background, but they do not affect us at all now, because the only match we care about is St Mirren versus Celtic. Or the other way around, I should say. It's at Celtic, and it's happening on the final day. Nice control from McMullen, and he has rounded Layers there. Terrible shot at the end of it, though. The boys in orange probably expecting a little bit more from him there. I've no idea where this is being played, by the way. I've only just noticed the possession stats. Good lord. 2/3 to 1/3. Although shots-wise, pretty even actually. They're doing quite a lot with the possession they're actually getting here. Gape. There's a lot of space to run into here. Still Gape. Well, that ended with Gape. That's quite sad, actually, the way that ended. Couldn't find the Gape. Leia's getting a bit tired on that left-hand side now, I did notice there. Starting to, anyway. Here he is, though, on the ball. Cardoso. It'd be nice for him to play the final match in full, and hopefully he can get happy enough for me to give him a contract, because he needs one, badly. Not the end of the highlight. Ripley kicks it forward. Straight to Gordon. Perez. Gordon. Duda, not going to get on the end of that one, but back to Gordon again. And third time's the charm. Jones with an unnecessary swivel. I wonder if that'll be in FM21. Bowler. Fernandez. Wide. So yeah, FM21 features. I mean, everyone's done a features video. I won't be doing that until they actually get announced fully. I feel like everyone's jumped the gun a little bit on doing feature videos here, considering we don't actually know the full extent of the features just yet. Little glimpse of things. Looks like press conferences have been improved, which is one of the main things. Yeah, Letters needs to come off now. It's only 2-0 still, but yeah, Nissel can come on for Perez. No, actually. Going to come on for Gape and swap them over. Yeah, press conferences look like a good thing next time out. Looks like they've tweaked a little bit in terms of interactions with your players. Body language appears to be part of that now. The one thing, actually, the smallest glimpse we got, that was terrible the way that bounced. I'm glad that didn't end up in a goal, otherwise I would have been a little bit furious. The thing I'm interested in, actually, is the recruitment meeting thing, where you can sort of set targets sort of the way, in a weird way, actually, FM Duda's got a goal, 3-0, that's killed the game. Thank you, Duda. In a weird way, it's sort of FIFA influencing FM for a change, rather than, obviously, the changes FIFA have made this year to career mode have been labelled as very much being inspired by Football Manager. The recruitment meeting seems to be inspired from FIFA the other way around, because the way you can set scout instructions in FIFA in career mode, that seems to be something they're doing. I know you could obviously do assignments with scouts, but you can sort of set that as a priority now in terms of positions and players that you want to get in. That seems to be a bigger focus on specifically targeting certain areas, which is what, you get there, like, I definitely need to get a right back this year, I definitely need to get a centre mid. And maybe you won't buy so many strikers in FM21 as a result. Who knows? But yeah, obviously you could always set assignments, but that was always a little bit hidden in there, sort of what, because a lot of the time you just play with scout, your head scout doing all the assignments for you. You never really set manual assignments yourselves, and hopefully this will give this a little bit more something to it, a little bit more emphasis on that kind of idea. I don't know what's going on here. I think this is just the end of the game, whittling away, because that foul wasn't noteworthy at all, unless we get a goal at the end here. No. Yeah, it was just the end of the game. And that is 3-0 to Stirling, and that secures us, I presume, the Europe spot, and now we are celebrating. I'm still on that step, but at least there's no interruptions from a Dundee player in the centre circle this time. Hope that's not an FM21. Fairly even game, shots-wise, but yeah, possession, we dominated that. Well done. So, Stirling, Scottish Cup winners. Did have to beat Rangers on the way through, but Rangers beat Celtic, which did help. So 125k for playing it, 300k for winning it, medals, worship, Pochettino spotted, because of course he is. I presume he's just got a hotel in Scotland at this point. We're getting initial budgets already, but because I presume that essentially seals our Euro Cup position. So yeah, Euro Cup is straight Euro Cup for the winning the Scottish Cup, which is obviously usually done by Celtic or Rangers, so it drops down to third place normally. But because we've won it, we get it, even though we may not get third place. Highly likely we'll get third place. As Hibs actually pick up a point against Rangers, Celtic have already won the title, I think. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference if Rangers had won there, because they would have only got to 86 with the win. And they have played all their games, Rangers. This is my favourite thing. I've been tracking Fiat up this entire time as my top target, and he is interested. Oh yeah, where was it played? Will it tell me? Oh, it was played at my stadium. Bit awkward. I don't know if that's broken. I'm not sure if there's meant to be a neutral ground for that, or if it just happened to be at our stadium this year, and we happened to get to the final. Like, for instance, if Cardiff managed to get to a final whilst Millennium Stadium was being used instead of Wembley. Yeah, a few more staff members across the board. Newcastle avoid relegation. Love to see that. So, we actually play exactly the same time as Celtic and St Mirren. Not every match happens at the same time, weirdly. I don't know why. I know Celtic have got 2 to play, but I'm not sure why all the others aren't being played at the same time. 5-5 Hibs versus Dundee. Wait a second. That's a 5-0 comeback. Dundee were 4-0 up at half-time, scored again just after the second half kicked off, And then Hibs scored 5 in the last half an hour. In fact, they scored 5 in 20 minutes in the second half. That's a 5-0 comeback from Vincent Kompany's Hibernian there. Good lord. That's more important than anything that's just happened right now. Meanwhile, 0-0 otherwise. Entirely irrelevant considering where they are in the table, but wow. Yeah, so Celtic play St Mirren alongside us. Good news, actually, I just realised nobody got booked in that cup final, so we have everyone available to us, except for Aaron Lewis, of course, who is still suspended. So, full first team, actually. I'll give Callum the start as well because it's Callum. But realistically, in terms of Sterling's future, this doesn't really matter. In terms of the challenge, I'm presuming 3rd v 4th may matter. And let's be real, it's probably the most you can actually get out of this challenge in the space of 3 years, considering Celtic and Rangers. So I'll take 3rd as an absolute achievement here, because realistically, probably the best you can get. It's not been easy, it has been tight 3rd v 4th. St Mirren have forced us the entire way pretty much, which is remarkable from them as well, considering they got promoted with us. Let's not forget that. Again, 2 promoted teams ending up 3rd and 4th, the best of the rest. It's a remarkable achievement from both of us. St Mirren have become our sort of de facto rivals in this challenge so far, because we played them, of course, in the Cup first year, and then they were with us in the 2nd Division last year, and they came up with us this year. So they have become sort of our story rivals. I put it on Twitter as well when I sort of talked about last episode. It's one of my favourite things about Football Manager is these sort of rivals that emerge with from the story almost from Football Manager. It's one of my favourite aspects of Football Manager, that the teams that you end up playing quite a lot along the way. So the way that Hull, I mean, I know Hull were technically York's actual rivals, but we ended up playing Hull quite a lot on the way through, and they sort of became the story rival as well as technically a bitter rival for York. But the way that sort of AC Milan became a bit of a rival for York, Bayern Munich, of course, became a rival for York towards the end as well. The way those teams that you end up just keep on facing just become story rivals, and that's one of my favourite things about it. And there is flip sides to that, of course. There's flip sides to that. So the teams that help you out along the way, like Liverpool did with York and Jurgen Klopp's relationship with myself, because he moved to Barcelona, and then we had a good relationship with Barcelona towards the end as well in terms of selling players and buying players. So there's that. And Gordon assists Fernandes for his 12th goal. He scored a bit more this year. He's one of the ones who's agreed to less money next year. Don't know how, don't know why, but he has done. Yeah, he's actually gone down from about 10 grand to about 6.5. Yeah, it's quite a noticeable drop from him. There was others that just took a slight drop, but he took a massive drop in wages to stay here. And he's one of the ones that rejected contracts for the end of the year from, Millwall. Same clubs are interested in both him and Barker in a weird twist. Both Millwall and Sunderland, I think, came in for both of them, and they rejected both of those clubs. So whilst Bolo actually ended up with slightly more money, Fernandes ended up on quite a lot less. But with European football, it'd be interesting to see if players like Cardoso Cuenca could stay with us next year. I have no idea when their actual end of contracts are, but if they're within their last year of their normal contracts, it might be achievable acquiring them on a permanent basis. I don't think any of them are actually running out of. I don't think any of their contracts are running out this year, so I don't think we can get any of them on end of contract deals. But who knows? They might be. Oh, speaking of, there's Cuenca getting a goal. I could just see the way that was dropping. That was about to go in. Lovely from Cuenca there. I mean, Duda's free kick in the first place is almost in itself. That's a brilliant save by the goalkeeper. At 2-0, so I've talked over this so far, so I might, just for the sake of time, I might just let the rest of this match just run away without me saying much more, because I've got end of season stuff to talk about, of course. Celtic are beating St Mirren elsewhere as well, so yeah, kind of going as we expected on this final day. It has got to 4, and I am only mentioning this one because it's Duda that's got the goal. Beforehand, it did did advise me that if Duda scored again, he would match Sterling's goal-scoring record, which was set by Lopez in year 1. And he's done it, basically. So Duda has matched Lopez's goal-scoring record. So if we can get him back next year, whether it's presumably on loan at best, but if we can get him back next year, I'm only mentioning that now because I would have mentioned it anyway later. But yeah, so if we can get Duda again next year, that would be nice. And 4-0 it ended. Josh Bowler did score. It was actually a pretty good goal. But yeah, that Duda goal just kind of preempted what I was going to mention at the end of the year anyway. Not sure when that's going to come through in this top division. I presume it's the same. Pochettino is still kicking around. I presume the end of season, Euro Cup anyway, but I'm presuming the end of season stuff is going to come through at the end of all this training again, as it always has. Sorry, I just got distracted by a match in the background. I just saw that Norwich beat Birmingham 3-0. And the only reason why that was interesting is because I swear to God, I'd just seen about a week earlier, that Birmingham had beaten Norwich 3-0. And I thought, oh no, that's probably dented their promotion hopes. It's actually the playoffs. They beat each other 3-0 and Norwich went on bounties. Wow. Incredible. Norwich versus West Brom. That's a... I remember when that was a relegation thing, when West Brom survived over Norwich. So there's blood there. So we ended up second then, because Wolves obviously ran away with it. Huddersfield snuck into second. I mean, if Norwich don't get promoted, it's a travesty. So Dundee Celtic wraps the lead, and Celtic end up 10 points ahead. Bear in mind they were only 2 points ahead when the split happened. The fact they pulled away to 10 points. I think they may have beaten Rangers both times, which is obviously part of that. Although Rangers did only lose twice. Tell a lie, actually, Rangers beat Celtic. They played each other quite early on after the split. Celtic in the Euro Cup final against Man United. There's something to pay attention to. So Rangers bottled it elsewhere. 4 draws in a row. 4 draws in a row. Twice against us. They actually played us twice in a row in the end. We had other games in between. Oh no, they actually did lose to Celtic. I'm getting very confused now. But they won one, lost one. But it's all these draws at the end here that have done it for Rangers. 6 draws there, I can notice there. 6 draws in the last 9 league games. That's what did it. In fact, after the split, they pretty much drew with everyone. They didn't win a single away game after the split. So sorry, Rangers fans, that's what's happened. Received $2.5 million for being third. That's not a massive amount, but for Scottish purposes, yeah. Just saw Bristol City draw at Tottenham. They've still got a game to play in the Premier League, but Bristol City survived. So I was curious about that because obviously not normally a Premier Division side, even in Football Manager, Bristol City. But they've been promoted and they have actually survived. Fulham, Leeds and Sheffield United going down. As things stand, I don't think Sheffield United done just yet. Due to second highest goal scorer. In fact, he had the same number of goals, more assists. Hang on, how's Jonas Wind? Wind won the award by virtue of having the least playing time of all 3 players. All 3 of them were 21 goals. Wow. Young player of the year though for Duda. Yeah. If we can get him back again, that'll be nice. And he actually sneaks into this Celtic Rangers. Well done, Duda. Well done. In fact, can we organise this now? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Right, that's Duda's loan in for next year. We only get 4 loans, but I'll definitely take one on him. With European games next year, absolutely take a loan striker. we might need another permanent striker. I know we've got Glatzel, but might need 2 starters and a rotation, basically. Here we are then. End of the training gives us all of the end of season stuff. Duda was the pick of 4 players. Goes straight in at the front of this, so absolutely can see the reason why I want him again next year. Straight into the best 11. Played 1 year's worth of games straight in the first choice striking position. Hendry somehow survives in the attacking midfielder role. Gape, Cardoso and Ziggy Gordon, other players selected to become part of our proud history. And in fact, Cardoso goes straight into the first 11 as well. Maybe we need to look about getting him straight in next year as well. Gabe and Gordon make the bench. But yeah, Nacelle, Jones in fairness is... Jones and Hendry, I think, are the wrong way around because I don't know if Jones can play fully in the midfield, but Hendry definitely can. Goal of the season is Callum Nacelle. Doesn't matter what he does for the rest of the year, Callum Nacelle will always get goal of the year. In fact, it was the goal you saw at the very beginning of the season, I'm pretty certain. I'm not sure if you saw that, or I may have showed you it anyway, but Callum Nacelle, opening day of the season, I'm presuming there, 2022. I'm pretty certain we saw that one in an episode. Doesn't matter what he does, Callum Nacelle, Ziggy Gordon, signing the season. I initially signed him to be backup, but he was good enough to play first choice, really. And did so. Just realised he doesn't like big games, but well. Scottish born and bred, homegrown Scottish, the reason why I got him in. More than enough, though. Josh Brother, young player of the year, still at 24. Player of the season, though, somehow. Well done, mate. Considering he had a horrible first half of the season, that I was questioning keeping him at the end of the year anyway, second half of the season really picked up. Duda really should have won player of the year, though, let's be honest. And actually, seeing Fernandez third there as well. Exactly the same with Bowler. First half of the season, nowhere near sensational. Second half, yes, he was. New vision, because of course we got European football. Group stage minimum. Don't we get into the group stage anyway? We don't have to do any qualifying nonsense, I don't think. Not sure if there's anything else that pops in the day later. Loan extension confirmed. There we are. I'm glad that one popped in there. Yes, there is something later. Writers Manager of the Year. Didn't get Players Manager of the Year, but I got Writers Manager of the Year. McLaren in second for getting 6th. How is St Mirren's manager not got on this? Sorry. I mean, I know I did well, but St Mirren's manager, I know they were fairly high up on the season preview as well, considering, but they were recently promoted. But how did St Mirren get ahead of Dundee there? I'll be honest, Ita Crank has been robbed there of the very least second in that. Predicted 8th, got 4th. Yeah, fair enough to Dundee. Both of them. Like Dundee United, predicted 7th, got 6th. How is that an achievement? Dundee, predicted 12th, survived, so must have been bare minimum 11th. They were 9th, so yeah, fair enough. I could see why you got in there, but Surely it's me, St Mirren and Dundee's managers. And I'll be honest, with our season preview as well at this point, it's not a massive improvement on our prediction either. So realistically, St Mirren's manager should have won that. I mean, I'll take the win, but I'll try to be brief with the player overview because you have seen a few more matches, of course, this year than you have done in previous years. So hopefully you've seen a little bit more of these players in action than you have done in previous seasons. But average rating in the end does go to Josh Bowler. He was underneath a 7 come January, average rating wise. So the fact he kicked on the second half of this season, clearly wanting to prove something to the team, rejected end of season contracts, rejected my contract originally, but rejected end of season contracts, agreed to one a couple months later for barely more than what he was on already, about $1,000 more than what he was on already. Kicked on the second half of the season with 16 goals and 15 assists in total. Not sure how many of them were before January, but wow. Duda, second. Not by much. 43 appearances, 27 goals, 9 assists, not bad for the striker. Plenty of contributions there. In fact, quite a good header winning rate as well from the striker. You do like to see that. Cardoso, 7.33. Right, hang on. 10 grand a week. His actual contract does run out in 2024. Will they allow us to have him on loan? Yes. Same with Cuenca, actually. It's going to cost me a little bit more money, the Cuenca's, of course, but I will take it. My wage budgets will probably go up. I think they already have. I didn't actually check the finances for next year. I will do that briefly in a moment. But Callum, 23 appearances. Season rocked by injury, gotta be said. Had at least about 2-3 months out in total with injuries this year. Regarded as our 5th best centre mid. Doesn't like big games, apparently not consistent, playing at a championship level, a Scottish championship level. 4th best player of the year. 7.3, 23 starts, 4 goals, 3 assists. Yeah, not great on the actual production front this year, but still 7.33. Clearly creating chances, clearly doing something, clearly involved in the play, even if he's not getting the final assist or the goal himself. Although when he does score, they tend to be quite good, as we've seen 3 years in a row. Fernandes, 12 goals, 14 assists. Fantastic from him again. Gordon, 11 assists from Gordon. Like I said, brought him in to possibly play backup right back as a homegrown nation player. Ended up being the starter pretty much all year. Gabe did well. Jones did well again this year. Love Jones. I really do love Jones, actually. Lairs, done pretty well considering he's been unhappy for most of the year. Perez, pretty good on loan. Not sure if I'll bother with him on loan this year. Considering we've guaranteed these 3 loans in, may look to actually get a midfielder in next year rather than a loan one. Graham, Robinson, solid. Dominguez, solid as well. Tchaikovsky, pretty alright actually. Sutar when he played. Lewis when he played and wasn't sent off. And realistically, not a lot of disappointment. I mean, Alstrom didn't start that often, so you have to put the 6.63 into perspective there, considering you come onto the pitch with the 6.6, I'm pretty certain. So he didn't actually play a lot of minutes. Whereas Hendry, Glatzel... In fact, yeah, realistically, there's not any disappointments this year. The goalkeepers are here. 6 stars for Connor Smith, 6.9 average. Not great. But Alstrom is learning that left-hand side. It's now on a dark green. Gradually getting there with Alstrom. 2 stars. Does have a bit of potential. I will be looking for more international new gens over the summer. We will see what happens with him. He is playing back up to Fernandes, of course, so may see him a little bit more. Might get a little more action, of course, with European football next year. We'll see that next time out. But realistically, of course, the things we're looking for are homegrown Scottish players. We may look to get a player like Chris Mockery in from Dundee United. He's on my radar. Realistically, we've got Jones in that attacking midfielder. I'm not happy with either Hendry or Connor Smith at this point. So Chris Mockery is absolutely a priority this year, I think. And hopefully some other good ones. An actual centre midfielder as well to go alongside Gabe, Robinson, Nissel, who just performs above his level every damn time, really, honestly. Nistel's going to be in Europe next year. Nistel's going to be playing European games. And if that isn't a beautiful way to end this year's cycle of Football Manager, I don't know what is. I will see you for next season. I will be doing more of this beyond the challenge. Until then, ta-ra.